Well, I thought I'd strip it down to see what's what, and as I say, this shaft should be like almost like a bolt thread on there, but that's snapped off because I drilled a hole in it and that's weakened it. Now that is somehow fastened onto this, I think it's nylon, like worm gear, plenty of grease as you see. There's a splined, tapered spline there. They don't grip the plastic. I don't know how they well almost fasten that on there, but must be really strong. And there's that. So look at this. So there's a bushing in there. I think it's a double bushing actually. I had to bang it out, or there was like one of these locking type spring washer type things on. I had to prise off with a screwdriver. It was on the end of the shaft here, holding it on. Banged that out, just whacking it. And that's where like the worm gear goes, along there. Couple of contacts here. They're going through to these bushes. I say one of these bushes is broken, that's why the speed doesn't work. I think this here is like a thermal cutout. That little unit there, so that if it starts getting too hot, it'll just presumably turn itself off. So this ring can come off. Now it is possible to buy bushes, but to me it's just not economically worthwhile in this case, I don't think. There's a bit of a look round. I think that's just like a almost shock absorbent type rubber thing that you can clip onto something. Okay. And here's the main motor. This is a permanent magnet motor, commutator, bearing, and there's the worm. So that basically, you have to watch out for the bushes. Don't try and force the motor in and out without checking that the bushes aren't going to get caught. I won't push it all the way in. But see, that goes in there. This with like a washer thing on, there is a washer that goes on. Goes in those bushings, very tight, those bushings. But anyway, that goes into the bushings, and obviously this, in a way, it turns. This is quite a powerful motor in itself, but as it turns that like a screw, and it screws the cog teeth on here. Now I think this is what I would term as a proper worm gear, which has like a bit of a curve for the worm. It's not totally flat, certainly a bit of an angle on that, if not anything else. So I wanted to strip it down to see if there's anything I can do with this, and I don't think there is. You know, anything without welding, and I haven't got a welder. I'll show you this side. So this is the like back of it, and you see it's got contacts there and some like bus bars, thin bus bars coming down. And I'll take this out. Let me try and get that out to show you. I don't know if I can or not. It's got a clip thing right in the middle there. I'm going to leave that. But as that turns, it switches on and off for the parking, because you want the windscreen, you know, when you turn the windscreen wipers off, say they're swishing across the windscreen like this, turn them off. You don't want them to stop like that, because then you can't distract from the driving. You want them to continue on into what they call a parking position for the windscreen wipers, and that's what the switches are for. Obviously these are just like contacts, look like. Now watch with some of these, apparently they have like cams in, and if they do have a cam bump type thing in, well then it'd be very hard to put into reverse. With this one you can just swap the wires over. I'll put some details about the wiring here. So there's the contacts there. So as I say, it's permanent magnets, so there's two quite beefy magnets. I can pull this out actually, I know I can. Just a second. There we go. Just pulls out, and there's two like semicircular magnets there. Quite powerful. Let's try and show you that screwdriver. So quite powerful there. Like a bushing right in the bottom there for the back shaft. Oh, there's a ball on that back shaft. Like a ball bearing in there. There's our armature and the commutator. So there's three basic contacts, three carbon bushes here. One is pretty well damaged, and by switching which ones are on, obviously switches which coils are switched on and off, and that sets the speed of how fast it's going to rotate, which governs the speed of the turning worm, which governs how fast everything else moves. There's contacts. Don't think there's much else I can really show you with this. If you're putting it back together, sometimes you have to watch that bushing doesn't get like crooked in the bottom there. And obviously be very careful of the carbon bushes. Now on quite a few of these, they do have like hooks that you can hook these almost flexible wires. See, that spins in and out on a spring. I'm hoping you can see that. Hard for me to tell from where I am. And goes against the commutator, I think it's called. So as that's turning, it's switching different coils on and off in this case. But these, some of these do have a place where you can hook the, I don't know if that's supposed to almost hook the wire behind to pull the carbon bush out the way as you push this forward. If you try and push this forward into here, it's just going to break the carbon bushes. They're quite delicate, if you ask my opinion, carbon bushes. Right, there we go. That's a bit of a look around inside. I don't think there's much more I can say about it. I was quite surprised this had a ball bearing at the back end here, actually in the shaft. And these these marks on here, if you wonder what these marks are, these are laminated plates. That's to cut down what they call eddy currents. If you laminate, cut down the eddy currents, which get converted into heat, so it reduces the heat. It's like a current that gets generated by the magnetic field. But these are grindings to balance out this so that it doesn't vibrate too much when it's spinning round. Now this is going to turn pretty fast, the fastest speed, but as it gets through the worm gear, especially the bigger the diameter of the wheel, the more reduction it's going to have. So that basically screws, turns round and round, and gradually turns this big worm gear. I don't know, I presume that's the worm gear. I don't know if they have a special name for each side of this. Anyway, this thing, so that's going to turn that round, screw it round, and they get a lot of reduction by doing that. Another issue is that quite often with worm gears you can't turn these in reverse because you've got the teeth that's going to push against if you try to turn in reverse. Now if I'm with this one, I can turn it in reverse, but I have to start very slowly, so the angle must be just sort of right to be able to do that. Right, going to leave that at that. I'm going to probably put back all together. I don't know what I'm going to do with the shredder. And there we are, put back together. I would say put this back like with the magnets in on last, because you have to get the carbon bushes out the way of the bearing that's on the shaft and of the commutator to a certain extent. Otherwise if you force it in, it's just going to break the carbon bushes. I think that's what happened to the low speed on here. I think somebody was in at this before, got it second hand. But as you see there, it's turning there, that's the fast speed, that's the only speed this will go at. If I swap the wires over, it'll just go in the opposite direction. No problems with this one. These have an awful lot of torque, as you see, enough torque to break that bolt. Okay, it's been weakened because it had the 3mm bolt through it, but even so, the main issue is watch those carbon bushes, because in my opinion they don't come cheap. So there's getting a bit of grease and oil on this nowadays. Mazda RX-8 2002-2007 front window screen motor. I'm supposed to say, I put these labels on myself to remind me. So you have a high speed and a low speed, and the other two are basically for the parking switching of the parking for the windscreen wiper where you want it to stop at. Okay, quite a lot of torque these motors after going through the worm gear, enough to break that shaft.